I hope you are aware that the FS Express is coming very soon. This event is actually going to be taking place at Western ICT Global Complex here in Oka on the 6th of September 2025. It's actually going to be the greatest gathering of forex traders in the history of Anambra State, right? So I hope you will be there. So on that day, one of the questions I'm going to be asking some of the traders we are going to be inviting to that event is this: what do you actually do when you encounter back-to-back losses in the forex market? We are going to be flying traders from across the states in Nigeria. Traders will be coming from Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and even Enugu, and all of them will be flying into Anambra State on the 6th of September to share their experience, right? We call it FS Experience. It's going to be very wonderful and mind-blowing. I have lined up questions I'm going to be asking them during the panel discussion. Just can't wait to see the answers that these my friends are going to be bringing up, what they actually do when they encounter back-to-back losses in the forex market. Because one thing I noticed is that forex traders adopt so many methods and techniques that they use to stay afloat, especially during these losses. So in my own version and what I do personally, when I start encountering this type of losses, which is unavoidable, what I do is just that I close my trading app, I close my MT5 and my trading view, and then launch my terminal. One thing I did that helped me stay afloat in the financial market, especially when these losses start coming, is cybersecurity. I went into cybersecurity. I became a professional in cybersecurity, became a certified cybersecurity analyst, and then it has helped me stay afloat. So whenever these losses start coming, I'll launch my terminal and I'll start hacking. But the thing I destroy and the things I hack are in my local machine. I've been able to set up a lab in my local machine that I use for penetration testing and for ethical hacking. This is the lab I've been able to set up in my local machine where I practice digital forensic, penetration testing, ethical hacking using tools like SQL Map, Hydra, Nmap, Nikto, and so many of them, or John the Ripper for password cracking, right? But I demonstrate everything inside this lab setup, right? This is Digital Eselsa, and this is my hacking lab setup. So whenever I encounter such losses in the forex market, I go into my hacking lab and I start hacking, I start practicing, I start doing crazy things with cybersecurity. This is how I set up this lab. First of all, I need a physical machine, and that physical machine could be any system, but for me, I am using my Microsoft Windows that has Windows 10 operating system installed in it. Then I also had to install a hypervisor, right? And the hypervisor I'm using is type 2 hypervisor. If you're in cybersecurity, you should understand that we have two types of hypervisor. You have type 1 hypervisor and then type 2 hypervisor. What I'm using here is Visual Burst, which is type 2 hypervisor that I use to perform visualization. I had to install it into an already existing operating system, which is my Windows 10. I installed the hypervisor inside it. This hypervisor helps us to manage and monitor other visual machines. So after installing this hypervisor, I now have to install my Kali Linux, right? Currently, I've been using 2024 Kali Linux, but in 2025, Kali Linux actually introduced a new version of this their machine, which is Kali Linux 2025. I had to install it, and I'm using it as my attacker machine. So I'm using this Kali Linux as my attacker machine. So all the attacks I'm launching, all the penetration tests I'm doing, whatever I'm doing in digital forensic, I am using this my Kali Linux as my attacker machine, right? And then from this Kali Linux, I can launch attack into a vulnerable machine. Of course, you should know about the cyber laws. It is actually unlawful for you to start sending attacks, to start using Nmap to scan a network you don't have control over, to start using tools like Hydra or SQL Map to start reinforcing systems that are not yours, or you don't have permission to carry out such attacks. It is illegal, and this can lead you to jail. That is why those of us in cybersecurity, we set up these labs where we can practice without facing any legal implication. Right, so I have my Kali Linux installed. I also have my Metasploitable 2 installed, and all of them are integrated through the process we call visualization inside this Visual Burst. So this Metasploitable 2 is acting as my vulnerable machine. This machine is then vulnerable, very, very vulnerable. Right? A lot of vulnerabilities are there, and these vulnerabilities I can exploit them for my Kali Linux. And then after installing these two machines, both my attacker machine installed and then my vulnerable machine installed, and I have to set the the network of these two devices so that they will be in bridge adapter. By so doing, they'll be communicating with each other. There will be transfer of packets, exchange of packets between these two machines. So you can just I use ifconfig to get the IP address of my Kali Linux, which is my attacker machine, get the IP address of my vulnerable machine, which is my Metasploitable 2. And then when these things have been set up properly, I can pin the IP address of my Metasploitable 2 through my Kali Linux. So this is just what I do. And with this type of setup, whenever forex is giving it to me back to back, I come here, I transfer that aggression to my cyber security and my hacking lab, and I give it to them back to back. If you check here, you see that I have my virtual box running. Inside this virtual box, you see, okay, let me open it this way so that you see this is the virtual box, which is the type 2 hypervisor which I've installed. Is that you see my Kali Linux, which is my attacker machine running, and my Metasploitable 2 running. I think I'll just do a video show you how to download this thing, install it, and set up everything so that it will be working properly. A lot of people who are into cyber security, the most lucrative part of cyber security is actually penetration testing and ethical hacking, and this is where most of the young people want to go into. And for you to go into penetration testing and ethical hacking, one of the first skills you should have is to know how to set up a simple lab in your local machine for penetration tests, and that is what I've been able to do here. The Kali Linux is up and running, and then the Metasploitable 2 is also up and running, right? If I also click here, you are going to see, look at my Kali Linux. My Kali Linux, it is actually running Kali. Alright, so as you can see, I'm already working with SQL. Alright, I've been doing some crazy shit with SQL nowadays. Alright, so this is what I use to take my mind away from the forex market in case of the time that losses come. So different traders use different techniques. Some go out to play basketball, some go out to play tennis, or do whatever it is to take their mind out of the chart, right? For the meantime, once you give yourself this space, you can actually come back with a refreshed mind and then get back to your trading plan and start hitting the market back to back. So if you're a forex trader, find something else and do, right? Find another skill. This skill will also help you to become more profitable if you can be able to combine them properly.